Hello there, 5th grade class. It's really nice that you are here as always, and I hope that you are ready to start with today's class. Remember that this week we are just doing reviews and activity reviews for the notebook. And remember that these activities are as important as the activities from the workbook and from the student's book, because I'm counting them. So if you don't do them, well, maybe you won't be able to be in the honor roll, or maybe you won't be able to have a 10 or a 9. So please, kids, be paying attention of this. So thank you, because I know that you're gonna do it. I encourage you to do your activities in your notebooks, remember. So let's do a review about the topic that we learned yesterday. We review about the present perfect, its used, and how to make the same sentence from positive to negative to a question, always using the auxiliary verb have or has, and also the main verb in past participle. For example, in this case, all our sentences where we seen that in present is see, right? So then we did a notebook activity where you needed to complete the questions and sentences by using the auxiliary verb and also the verb see, okay? So today we're gonna check a different activity. This is not something about the book or this unit, etc. We're gonna review about a new text about more different things, and this is gonna be for a text that we're gonna read today. But first of all, because the reading it's about like vacations, I wanted to make sure that you know some words. Maybe they are not gonna appear all of them in the story, but these words are like in vacation and the same topic. So let's check it out. Tent. Okay, this is a tent where the people that goes outdoors, they sleep in there and they are safe. Floater. Okay, you know what is a floater? Do you use it? Then we have baggage. Okay, so the baggage is all your clothes and all the things that you are taking. It is not like the suitcase, no es la maleta. It's all the baggage, all the clothes, and all the stuff, your accessories, all the things that you are taking, okay? Baggage, okay? In some countries, it is called luggage. In some countries, it is called baggage. Then we have flip-flops. Nowadays, they are most likely called sandals, but its real name is flip-flops. Flip-flops. Then we have flippers. Some people use them to swim. And then we have a lighthouse. Have you seen a lighthouse? In Progreso, there's a lighthouse, and of course all the beaches that have like a coast, they have a lighthouse because it's important for ships so they can see where they are heading to. So let's repeat: tent, floater, baggage, equipaje, flip-flops, flippers, and lighthouse. So right now I'm gonna show you the story that we are gonna read. So this story I found it on the internet. So I left you the screenshots of the picture of the reading in the assignment so you can read it again. This time I'm gonna read it for you, but you can read it at home because you need to pay attention. If you miss any important information, you can read it again by your own. Because of course, as you know, we have like a reading comprehension when we finish reading this, okay? So just pay attention. It is called The Best Vacation Ever, okay? This is not working. Okay, The Best Vacation Ever. It says, winter break was fast approaching, and all Scott wanted to do was snowboarding. Unfortunately, Scott's parents had different plans. They had booked a week-long tropical cruise. Scott hated warm weather and asked if he could just stay at his best friend's house so he could snowboard every day with his buddies at the local mountain. His parents didn't want to hear anything of it. He kept debating them about the topic, but they would not change their minds. Family time was important to them, and it was a tradition that they had spent winter break together. Okay? The week of the cruise arrived, and Scott continued to nobble his complaints, and he and his family left their house to head south. Okay? Scott's dad told him that he would only make the vacation worse for himself if he didn't change his attitude and open his mind to a new experience. Scott still couldn't stop thinking about all the snow that he was leaving behind. When they arrived at the port to board the ship, Scott had a hard time admitting that he was actually impressed with the size of the ship. He had seen the brochures, but seeing the ship in person was a whole different animal. So it means that it was super enormous, it was huge. Then he remembered that the brochure said something about the surfing pool. Maybe surfing would be somewhat like snowboarding. After all, it involved riding on a board. Scott climbed aboard the ship with his parents and then they walked around to check everything out. He couldn't believe how extravagant all the accommodations were. The dining room looked like the royal hall. The game room had all of his favorite games and then some. The ship's deck had several different swimming pools for different purposes. Then Scott saw the surfing pool. It was incredible. It wasn't a big pool, but it had big waves. And the girl who was demonstrating how to ride the waves made it look like a ton of fun. Let's continue. Scott asked his parents if he could go put his swim shorts on so that he could try surfing. They said, of course. They wanted to put their swimsuits on as well. And much to Scott's surprise, they wanted to try surfing too. When Scott and his parents had their swimsuits on, they headed back to the surfing pool. There was a line, but it wasn't too long. Scott's dad went first and only tasted about 5 seconds before he wiped out. Then it was his mom's turn. She actually made it longer than his dad did. When it was Scott's turn, he was excited and nervous. He hopped on the board and took a stance similar to his snowboarding stance. Then the waves started. It felt similar to the snowboarding but different at the same time. On his first ride, Scott rode for at least 30 seconds before wiping out. He was hooked, thought. A lot of passengers tried surfing the first day of the cruise, but only 8 people or so really took to it. So, for the remainder of the cruise, the lines weren't too long, and Scott got to know the regulars quite well. But the line of the week-long cruise was over. Scott had new friends he planned to keep in touch with, a new hobby, and great memories. He apologized to his parents for initial moaning and groaning and told them it was his best vacation ever. So it was like really nice, okay? This seems like expensive and fancy. Okay, so now we have questions to answer. It is, of course, notebook activity time. Okay, so if you don't want to copy the questions, it's okay, but I want to see your answers in your notebooks. Okay, you need to write today's date and the instruction. Copy in your notebook, answer the questions about the reading. So you can write number 1 and the answer. It is not necessary to write the question, but if you want to do it, it's okay. So number 1, based on the context, what type of climate is considered tropical? So what do you think it is tropical? If it's hot, if it's like humid or something like that. Number 2, what do you think the word tradition means? Okay, what is it for you? You don't need to use a dictionary, so what do you think? Like, it is something that we do constantly, that we are used to do the same way, or maybe is it something that we change every time and every time? Number 3, the phrase a whole different animal is an informal way to say of what? So there's a part of the story where they say a whole different animal. So what do you think they were saying? What they were talking about? Is it an animal? Do you think in the cruise there was an animal? It wasn't about an animal. So you need to try to explain, try to understand what was it about. Number 4, what do you think Scott was surprised that his parents wanted to try surfing? Okay. Number 5, based on the context, what do you think the word extravagant means? Okay, do you think it is something that it is normal, something different? Number 6, what would Scott have wanted to apologize his parents? So as you remember at the end of the story, they say that Scott apologized to his parents and told him about etc., that he was his best vacation ever. That was a clue. Okay, so we have only 6 questions and sentences that you need to write an answer on your notebook, please, and send it. They are about the reading. It is not that long. You just needed to pay attention. We don't have different or new words, I think. So I'll be waiting for you to send me this activity with today's name and also your name. And that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow right here as always. Have a nice and amazing day. See you then. Bye.